The story starts in 1587 when a group of English people, following a command from the Queen of England, travel to a remote island. Their leader is Captain Jack. When they arrive, Jack's pregnant wife, Maria, wonders if they made the right call coming here. Jack reassures her, saying it's a new place and they'll get used to living there soon. He explains that once they settle, the island will be under England's control, just like many other countries. While they're talking, the governor and the rest of the crew unload their stuff and head deeper into the island. After a short distance, they find a wooden fort and several houses that are completely deserted. An English officer named Mac whispers something to the governor and leads him into one of the houses. Inside, they discover a skeleton hanging from a noose. The governor notes that the body looks like a soldier and that he's only been dead for a few months. Mac finds it weird that if he hanged himself, no one else is around. A junior officer points out that when they got there, the gates to the fort and houses were locked from the inside, but there were no other bodies. Everyone is pretty confused by this. Jack and Maria enter the house. Jack notices something written in Nordic on a wooden plank above them. The governor says it says, "Save your soul before they take it from you," and figures the guy must have been crazy. The governor leaves, but Jack keeps staring at the skeleton. A local from a neighboring island, who guided them there, is also with them. He warns Jack not to go too deep into the forest beyond the lake on the island. After giving his warning, the man leaves. The English people fix up the deserted wooden houses and make them their homes. That night, Maria has a terrible nightmare. She dreams that she has no baby in her womb and is surrounded by blood. When she goes outside to find her baby, she sees a witch holding her newborn. Maria asks for her baby back, but the witch says they want the child. Maria screams in terror, and then she wakes up. Jack wakes up too and asks her what's wrong. She tells him about her dream. Jack sees that there is blood and quickly calls for some midwives to help Maria give birth. During the delivery, Maria feels like the witches from her dream are taking her baby instead of the midwives. Jack tries to calm her down, and the midwives successfully deliver a baby girl. Once the baby is born, Maria no longer sees the witches, and she and Jack are super happy to have their new daughter. Maria's father, who is also the governor, shows up. Jack tells him he's a grandpa now, and everyone congratulates him. The governor tells Jack that since they've settled, he's heading back to England to inform the Queen. Mac will be in charge while he's gone. He tells them to start farming soon and says he'll be back in the spring with a ship. As they're talking, some hunters come back from the forest. They tell the governor they set up traps but didn't see a single animal. The governor tells them to keep trying to find food. The governor then leaves for England. That night, Maria tells Jack she has a bad feeling about the island. Jack says the place will feel like home soon, and he explains that they're starting to farm and will eventually trade. He tells her not to worry, saying their daughter will have a great life there. The next day, Jack and Mac are practicing fighting when one of the hunters comes back from the forest. He tells them he heard weird noises and that one of their friends has gone missing. Jack and Mac grab torches and guns and head into the forest with some soldiers to find him. They don't find the missing man, but they do find the torn up body of an animal, which shocks them all. They also start to hear the screams of what sound like ghosts. Since they have no idea what's going on, Jack and his men head back to the fort to escape the unseen danger. That night, Jack tells a junior officer to increase security at the fort and make sure no one goes outside alone. The junior officer suggests that the strange occurrences might be the work of the local tribe who live in the forest beyond the lake. He proposes they attack the tribe to get rid of them. Mac tells him he's being foolish. He says they don't even know if the tribe is responsible and that attacking the native people would be a mistake. Jack, who's been listening, decides to go alone to meet the tribe's chief to figure out the truth. He tells them to take care of things at the fort while he's gone. The next day, Jack goes to the forest alone. He makes it to the tribe's camp, but is immediately surrounded and knocked unconscious. When he wakes up, he's tied up in front of the tribe. The tribe's general pulls out a dagger and gets ready to kill him, but the chief comes out of his hut, stops him, and takes Jack inside. Jack tells the chief that his people are being scared. One of his men went missing, and his wife has been seeing strange things. He asks if the tribe is behind any of it. The chief denies it. He says there are ancient spirits in the forest and no one knows what they want, but it's probably them. He explains that anyone else who came to the island before them was either killed or disappeared. Jack says he doesn't believe in that stuff and that in England they call it superstition. The chief says that's the truth, whether he believes it or not. He explains that they are safe because they wear a talisman from their god. The chief gives Jack a talisman and tells him to go back home if he can, or at least to be careful and stay away from the forest. Jack goes back to the fort. Maria has another terrifying vision. She sees people torturing a woman in a cave. Freaked out, Maria tells Jack that something is seriously wrong and that her visions are not normal. Jack just tells her it's all in her head and that everything will be fine. Afterward, Jack tells the junior officer and Mac to plant as much as they can. He says hunting is too difficult, and if they don't have grain, they'll starve to death before the ship comes back in the spring. Later that night, while everyone is celebrating a Christian holiday, a guard outside the fort mysteriously disappears. Jack and Mac go outside to find out what happened, but no one knows anything. The junior officer again says it's probably the tribe's doing. Jack tells him to just secure the fort and make sure no one goes into the forest alone. Still convinced the tribe is behind the attacks, the junior officer takes some soldiers the next morning without telling Jack or Mac. They cross the lake and attack the tribe, setting fire to their huts. The tribe fights back, and a huge battle breaks out. The soldiers brutally kill many of the tribesmen, but the tribesmen fighting with swords and machetes overwhelm them. Many soldiers are killed. The junior officer and the remaining soldiers panic and run back to the lake. The chief and his men chase after them. The junior officer and 3 remaining soldiers manage to get into a boat and escape before the chief reaches the lake.
How many of my men did you lose?
The junior officer tells Jack that 12 of their soldiers were killed. Jack is furious, asking him who gave him permission to attack them and how many tribesmen were killed. The junior officer says many of the tribesmen were also killed in the fight. Jack says he has no idea what a big mistake he's made. He explains that they were already fighting an unseen enemy, and now the junior officer has created another one for them. Since the junior officer has no response, Jack has him arrested. Mac asks Jack what they should do since they can't go back to England without a ship. Jack says for now they just need to stay alert. He goes to see his wife, and Maria tells him she had the same vision again of a woman being tortured in a cave. She also says she has a bad feeling that something terrible is about to happen. Jack tries to calm her down again. While they're talking, the spirits attack the junior officer, who is in chains, killing him brutally. Jack and Mac rush to him, but it's too late. Mac sees his disfigured face and realizes why the man who hanged himself wrote, "Save your soul before they take it from you." The next day, a priest is brought in. The priest looks at the junior officer's body and says it was the work of an ancient and very dangerous spirit. He says he can't help them fight it. Jack says they'll just have to fight them themselves. Mac points out that their weapons are useless against the spirits. Jack thinks that the spirits are afraid of water, and that's why they don't go into the lake. He tells Mac to get more weapons ready so they can figure out the spirit's weakness using water and weapons. Jack then goes to his wife. Maria says that since their people are dying one by one, the spirits will soon take their baby. Jack says he finally understands why they want their baby. He explains that hundreds of years ago, Vikings used to live on the island. If they died in an accident or were murdered and their bodies weren't cremated on a boat, their spirits would be stuck until a new, pure soul helped them find peace. Maria says this means the spirits will do whatever it takes to get their baby. Jack promises to protect her with his life. That night, he and Mac stand guard, but nothing happens. The next morning, Jack, Mac, and some soldiers go into the forest with torches and weapons to find the spirit's hiding place. The men fight back with their guns and torches, but the spirits are unharmed and start brutally killing the soldiers. One of the spirits tries to kill Jack, but he throws water on it and it disappears. Jack and the remaining soldiers run back to the fort, throwing water as they go. Everyone at the fort is terrified. That night, the spirits trick some of the guards into leaving. Jack sees them leaving and tries to stop them.
You there! Somebody stop that man, now!
The guards open the gate and get killed by the spirits. The spirits then start to approach the other guards at the fort. Jack orders the soldiers to shoot at them, but the bullets do nothing. Jack attacks one of the spirits with a wet knife, and it disappears. Another spirit stabs Mac in the back. Jack takes the injured Mac inside to be treated. Everyone is scared, and Jack knows it. So the next morning, he gets ready to go see the tribe's chief. Maria asks him where he's going alone. He tells her he's going to see the chief. Maria tells him the tribe won't spare his life after what his men did. Jack says if he doesn't do anything, they'll all die anyway, so he has to go. He takes the risk and goes to the forest to meet with the chief. The chief is furious to see him, asking him how he had the guts to come back after what his men did. Jack says he wasn't involved in the attack and that his men have already paid for their mistakes. He asks the chief for help on how to get rid of the restless spirits, saying they'll come for the tribe after they kill all the Englishmen. The chief says he doesn't know much about them, but that there is a mysterious cave in the forest that's connected to them. He thinks Jack might find some information there. Jack tells the chief his wife has had visions of a cave like that and asks him to take him there. After Jack keeps asking, the chief agrees and takes him to the cave. Inside, they see ancient writing on the wall. walls. It explains how some Viking men and women were brutally tortured and killed many years ago, which is why the forest is cursed. The chief tells Jack that according to the writing, he has to create a boat cremation pyre and use his newborn baby to perform the spirit's funeral. This is the only way to release them. Jack goes back to the fort and tells everyone what he learned. He tells them they have to build a big boat pyre as soon as possible. Mac's wife asks if he has to sacrifice his daughter. Jack says no, she just has to be a part of the ritual. They all start building a big boat pyre by the lake. They only get halfway done before nightfall and go back to sleep. That night, Jack finds out another one of his men is gone, and there's blood everywhere. The next morning, Jack tells everyone they have to finish the boat today so they can do the ritual tonight. After working hard all day, they finish building the boat pyre. Jack tells Mac that as soon as the spirits get on the pyre and he pushes the boat into the lake, Mac should shoot an arrow to set it on fire. Mac agrees. As the sun goes down, the spirits show up and start coming toward them.
I have what you want.
He goes toward the pyre, and the spirits follow him. A soldier tries to attack the spirits. Mac tries to fight the spirits to save his men. The spirits then attack Mac and his wife, killing her. Heartbroken and furious, Maria gets a sword and tries to attack a spirit, but another spirit stabs her in the stomach, killing her. Jack, helpless, can't do anything. He knows he has to act fast, so he pushes the boat into the lake. A spirit tries to kill Jack on the boat, but before it can, a wounded Mac shoots a flaming arrow at the pyre, setting it on fire. The spirits are finally at peace, but Jack, Mac, and everyone else are dead. The next morning, the chief and his men come to the lake and find Jack's baby in a basket. The chief decides to adopt her. He orders his men to burn all the English bodies and the forts to prevent any of their spirits from becoming ghosts on the island. And that's how the fantasy thriller movie ends. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.